What's up, everyone? I'm Adam Zdroik. I'm going to discuss Saturday's DraftKings showdown between West Ham and Wolverhampton. Hopefully, like that little mix up of an intro, just taking it easy on a Friday afternoon. I'm just going to do a mostly quick rundown of the slate, the showdown for Saturday. I believe it has the biggest contest for the weekend. Disappointing. We will have a write up from Jack Burkhart for the Manchester Derby, which is Sunday. A little disappointing that those contests aren't bigger, but this way, for some reason, I mean, it is a standalone match on Saturday. Uh, the contests at DraftKings are the biggest of any match this weekend for this Wolverhampton West Ham match. And this is kind of a first look, just running through some things. I haven't even put together a lineup myself, so I'm just going to look at some things, throw in some cash looks, some GPP looks, that kind of thing. So it's going to run through some things. But odds report here. Again, if you're new to us for some reason, if you're new to RotoWire Soccer, you can get this cheat sheet, rotowire.com/soccer trial, free 10-day trial, no credit card required. And I'm just going to be on this cheat sheet for the entire show, just running through some things. So we can see in the odds, West Ham close to 50% in terms of win. Clean sheet almost 40%, implied goal total 1.51, Wolverhampton just below 1 goal. I think these odds are okay. Last season's meetings 1-0 to the home side both times, and that's kind of what we're looking at with this. I'm still not sold on West Ham in general here, just in terms of their 50% win chance compared to 23% for Wolverhampton. I think these teams are pretty even. I mean, we look at the lineups. I guess the thing is that for the first time all season, we will have Nathan Collins is suspended for Wolverhampton, so it's going to be maybe Tony Gomez in the starting 11 for Wolverhampton. We'll see what happens with that. But even in their cup match, Wolverhampton, they still played Kilman and Nathan Collins next to each other. So Tony Gomez, young defender, he started a few matches for him last season, so he at least has experience. I believe it's going to be him back there. So that changes some things up. We'll see how much it matters. But overall, I mean, you look at the lineups, obviously West Ham has some European competition, so they added some depth to the squad. We'll see if Scamacca maybe gets some more starts in league play. Paqueta has been starting a little bit here. We'll see. I mean, they've pretty much gone with this front four here: Fornals, Paqueta, Bowen, Antonio. Scamacca was dealing with, I believe it was an illness before the national break. Maybe he'll get some starts going forward. Ben Johnson looks like he's going to be back from injury. We'll see if he's in there. I mean, there's a chance we see like a three center backs for West Ham because Craig Dawson is also healthy. So like we have Carrera, we have Zuma, Craig Dawson, Ben Johnson started the season at center back. We also have Emerson, an option on the wing now for West Ham. So compared to last season, West Ham have a few more things that they can do with their lineup, and that's something I'm going to watch out for in this game. So far, I mean, we can click into Fabianski here and see what they've actually done in league play. We don't have the conference league stats, which is what West Ham are playing in, but pretty much, I mean, you can see it's kind of back and forth, 4-2-3-1, 4-2-3-1. They went three center backs at Chelsea, three center backs at Aston Villa. Home against Wolverhampton, I don't know if they're going to go three center backs in this one, but we'll see what happens. I mean, in that scenario, we can, confirm that someone like Cresswell is playing on the wing, that kind of thing. Soufal's on the wing. That would lead us to more likely play those guys in cash games. So that's something I would keep an eye on. So check the cheat sheet. We'll have the positions in here. I mean, but you can do this for yourself. If Kerr, Zuma, and Dawson are on the starting 11, three center backs. So keep an eye on that one. And then like you'll have Suchik and Rice in central midfield there. But for Wolverhampton, there's a slight chance we'll get Diego Costa in the starting 11. Again, he hasn't played a competitive match since, I want to say, December of 2021. And he's been training for a couple weeks. I think it's a stretch that he starts. I mean, he hasn't played a real match in so long. and he's not young. I think he's the same age as me, so I can't imagine myself being off for so long, getting a few weeks of training, but just starting in a Premier League match. Obviously not the same situation here. He's a professional athlete, but but we'll see what happens with that. Bruno Lage did say he prefers to have him that central striker, but right now Raul Jimenez is out. New signing Kolasinac is basically out for the whole season. We'll see if it's Podence, Guedes, and Neto up front for Wolverhampton. No matter what, they pretty much ride in the 4-3-3, that kind of a look. We'll see if Semedo is at fullback. Right now, I'm projecting Aït-Nouri and Johnny. And I think for this matchup, Wolverhampton, I think they're kind of underrated here. 22% win chance. I know that, Nathan Collins is suspended and everything, but I think Wolverhampton have played well this season. It hasn't really shown up. They're still struggling. This team, for some reason, they always struggle to score. But like the midfield right now, Moutinho, Neves, and Nunez in there, playing pretty well. And I think they can stack up with a lot of teams. And I think that, Suchik and Rice, that's a solid midfield too. But I think just Wolverhampton in general, just those guys, like they have Nunez in there instead of like a Dendoncker, and I think he provides a little bit more than the defensive mentality of a Dendoncker, which they had in previous seasons. He's now on loan at Aston Villa, but that's my read on this match. I think the 2.5 implied goal total, it's a good number. I wouldn't be. Personally, maybe I'd even go down to my personal number, 2.3, something like that. So where it's even like 1.3 West Ham implied goal total, and still with the Wolverhampton at 1. We'll see if West Ham figure things out offensively. They might. They're scoring goals in the Europa Conference League, and they're really struggling in league play. I think both these teams have 3 goals scored in league play. But for cash games, let's get into it. I think it's pretty not too difficult, I guess, is what I'll say, to come up with a cash lineup. We got Bowen here as the most expensive player, and he has come around the last few matches. I think Everton are allowing like the most corners in the league, so he had that 16-point floor where West Ham were pushing in that match. He had 8-point floor against Chelsea, 10-point floor against Tottenham. So he's getting better floors than he was earlier in the season. But I'm not sure you even need to spend on that. I'll start a lineup here with Bowen captain and see what we can do with that. But Bowen, you want Bowen in there. Cresswell, we can go on the cheat sheet and see what the set pieces are like. Bowen, 18 set pieces. Cresswell, 11. You also got Fornals in there. He has a couple. Do you want Fornals in cash games? That may be a stretch, but he seems to be around a certain area, 5-point area, not really a must by any means, but he's still in like the Vladimir Soufal price range. Other side, you're gonna want Pedro Neto. Basically, he's taken all set pieces, 24. And then you get Nunez at 5. Moutinho, not a cash game move anymore. He's gonna have his maybe a random set piece, maybe a random cross or shot or whatever. Without set pieces, there's really no reason to play Moutinho. But then you look at his price, and it's like, okay, he's 3,400, and he's going full 90 every match. Maybe he's not the worst thing. So you got to look at that. But let's plug in Soufal to this lineup. So we got Bowen, captain, Cresswell, Neto, Soufal, and we're left with about 10K for 2 spots. And there's not a ton here you can do, I guess, unless you go with like fullbacks for Wolverhampton. Johnny, Semedo. I think Aït-Nouri maybe is too expensive. Yeah, he's 6,400 here. I guess, you could do Bowen. It's not like there's a lot of terrible options here. It's going to be a defensive match. I don't think there's going to be a ton of shots. There's not going to be that many crosses. Let me just pull up like some numbers from last season. So in this spot, West Ham at home, they won 1-0. They took 13 shots. Wolverhampton took 14. West Ham took 3 corners. Wolverhampton took 5. Some of that's game script. West Ham got a goal in the 59th minute, so Wolverhampton are probably pushing the final 30. Prior matchup, Wolverhampton 1-0 win. Similarly, pretty I mean, pretty much the same here. 15 shots for Wolverhampton, 8 shots for West Ham. So I don't think there's going to be a ton of stuff happening. So it's not like even if you get Bowen, it's like the other expensive players on the slate are Cornet and Ben Rama. I don't think they're going to start. Maybe they do, but did you still want them in cash games even if they start? Probably not. Antonio's up there, Skamaka. Do you want Paqueta in cash games? Probably not. I mean, he's not. Doesn't seem like he's going full 90s here. Podence, no. So it's like, I guess I was originally away from Bowen as a captain, but like, who else are you spending on in this slate? So I guess Bowen makes kind of a lot of sense here. Home favorite, majority of set pieces. You can plug in Cresswell, you can plug in NATO, you can pretty much plug in whoever you want. I think this is going to be a slate where, if you compare your lineups to Cermak kind of thing, I think this is a slate where Cermak just rosters both goalkeepers. And I mean, we look at that. The goalkeepers are kind of a little expensive here. Fabianski's 8,000. So in this build that I just created, you're not going to be able to fit both goalkeepers in here. Jose Sa is 5,200 here. So you still have some wiggle room. Like, these goalkeepers are kind of expensive, but you can even just have Sa in this lineup, ideally. I mean, but even then, you got Johnny. I mean, Nunes. These Wolverhampton midfielders don't have the worst floors. I like Matheus Nunes in general. Sure, he's always in play for like a yellow card. He commits a decent amount of fouls. He's a pretty physical player, but I mean, look at his numbers outside of the Man City match. He's getting a shot every match. He's assisting a shot every match. He's having crosses. He's taking a random set piece or two in front of net kind of thing. And he's only I just lost my place here. 4,200. Neves is 4,800. So you got so many options in this lower range. That's fine to get Bowen. So, I mean, there's an option right there. You got plenty of choices in cash games. I mean, so going back to that, you don't really need Neto here in cash games, but you can. I mean, you can get Neto captain. Then you throw Bowen in. You throw Cresswell in. And then in that situation, you can get both goalkeepers if that's your thing. Not really a must by any means, but as I said, one of the best players in the game likes to roster both goalkeepers in a situation like this. So plenty of wiggle room. If you got Neto in there, you got a lot of ways to go. But yeah, so your 3 cash captains, you're looking at Bowen, you're looking at Cresswell, and you're looking at Neto. And that's kind of it. I mean, you just look at the set pieces. Those guys pretty much take the majority of them. I mean, maybe if you want to throw Fornals in there, I don't really see a reason for it. Like, he's more expensive than Cresswell. With Cresswell, you're also getting the clean sheet upside. So not sure. And then if we do have a situation where it's 3 center backs and Cresswell's on the wing, I think Cresswell may be my preferred option over Bowen. We'll see what the lineups actually look like when they come out, but I think it's pretty simple for cash games right there. Not too difficult. I mean, this isn't like I don't know. I want to compare it to, but these are pretty simple cash teams, just in terms of who you actually want to look at least this season. With Neto taking the majority of the set pieces, Matinho's off of them, kind of a thing. So you got that, but we're here for tournaments. We're here to win. I think the main GPP 10K to first. We're here to win that. So what are we going to do here? I do have to mention rotowire.com. Check out Jack Burkhart wrote an article, DFS Showdown Theory, optimizing for a 1-0 result. This is a perfect match to play for a 1-0 result. I suggest reading that. A lot of good stuff in there. Telling you, I mean, we did a case study on the Nottingham Forest Fulham match from a couple weeks ago, but a lot of good stuff in there to how popular certain lineups are with, like, a forward that stands out. Maybe you can't compare things 1-to-1. Like, this isn't a match where, like, there's a Mitrovic in it, so he's going to be hugely popular. Like, we look at the goal odds, it's kind of crazy when you look at the goal odds. Antonio plus 200 has the best odds to score here. You can go down. Bowen's at 320, and I mean, Wolverhampton best odds to score for a projected starter, Neto, is plus 500. I'm sorry, I looked over Guedes, who's plus 350. I mean, those odds seem kind of off. If you want to bet Wolverhampton to score, I'd just take Neto or Podence or something like that. That seems like plus 500 odds. Diego Costa, if he starts, I guess he's plus 350. So he's also 4,000. So I guess I'll have to mention him at some point here. So what are we going to do in GPPs? So, usually the most popular captains, they're going to be the cash captains. It's going to be Bowen. I think Bowen's going to be popular just because you look at his recent floor. He's a good player. He's going to show up on the score sheet. When he's in form, he shows up on the score sheet. He hasn't been in form this season. Maybe the international break helped. We'll see. But he's going to be a popular player. Neto's going to be popular. Cresswell probably, again, pretty popular. So you got a wide range of guys to go to. Do you want an opposing forward? I guess Neto fits in that conversation. But for tournaments here, because Neto will be more popular, someone like Podence as your captain is not going to be popular. I think, as I just said, I think Podence, Neto, Guedes, I think all those guys should pretty much have the same odds to score. But then when you put in a DFS here, Neto is going to be more popular because of set pieces. So I don't think, as a captain, Podence isn't going to be too popular. Guedes, I don't know how popular he's going to be. 6,800 captain, 10.2K. We'll see with that. But I mean, I like all three of those Wolves guys. In that scenario, obviously you're looking from a goal. Maybe you look from an early goal from a Wolverhampton striker, and then you get the West Ham set pieces, and you get the West Ham guys who are taking shots, kind of a thing. Rack all that up. Maybe plug in goalkeeper in this lineup as well, that kind of a thing. I will say, in terms of Antonio and Scamacca, whoever starts, I know they have the best odds to score, but I mean, you look at what they've done. I'm not sure either of them are going to be playing more than 70 minutes. It seems like a situation this season where whoever starts up front is going to play 70 minutes. If they're having trouble scoring, they're going to be subbed out at the 70-minute mark or around there. So, or even before that. So that's one thing to worry about, especially in a defensive game like this. But I mean, tournaments, you're going for goals anyway. So, maybe hope for that first half goal kind of a thing. So, but again, either one of those guys, I think, will be plenty popular with the best odds to score. It won't be overly popular, obviously, plus 200 to score. So I mean, you got to really, as I was saying with West Ham, I mean, you can captain any of these guys. Wouldn't be surprising. Souček hitting the back of the net. I think he scored last game. You can captain these guys. You can captain Cresswell. You can captain Souček, all the front four here. You can basically captain maybe everyone but Matinho for Wolves here. So you got 5 guys right there, maybe even the fullbacks. Goalkeepers, you can captain a lot of these guys. So, I mean, instead of just trying to come up with lineups of all these guys captain, I'll just go with my favorite strategy here. I'll do it for the sake of the show. 18 minutes in, I'll do a Fabianski and a Jose Sa captain. Okay, so let's do Fabianski captain. So let's go with a 1-0 win, maybe 2-0 kind of thing. So we got Fabianski. I mean, even one of these could go with a scoreless draw here. But so Fabianski, you're going to want Bowen. I think that's a must right here. You're going to want Antonio. You're going to want Neto just because maybe West Ham get that early goal. Then you're going to get set pieces coming in on the opposite side here. So you got that 8.2K left for your other 2 spots. Maybe I spent a little too much here by going Bowen and Antonio Neto, but I guess it doesn't really help here that Fabianski is expensive. So there's not a ton to gain from Fabianski in your captain slot, but I'll try and fill out what else do we got. Souček is 4.4K. So, I mean, at this point, you may even have to be going 4 West Ham players to Wolverhampton. So, I mean, you got options, at least, is what it comes down to, yeah. Dama Troy is down here at 3,800. Looks like you're stuck with center backs. So, yeah, Fabianski, you're out. If you want Bowen, if you want Antonio, maybe you just don't get Neto in the squad. Maybe you hope that West Ham kind of control the match. Maybe they don't get the goal till the second half, kind of a thing. And then so you don't get Neto. You don't play for his set pieces. So your Wolves piece is actually just one of these guys who always seems to get to a 5-point floor. So just plug in Nunes here, and then in this situation, what we got 12.2K for the last couple spots. So a little more wiggle room here. So again, like all these Wolverhampton guys are fine. They're fine. It's not like Nunes doesn't have upside. It's not like Neves doesn't have upside. Like these guys get forward, they will take shots from outside the box. I think Neves and Nunes both take set pieces from the pitch. So you got guys here that have 5-point floors with some upside, whereas that will have shots on goal. Whereas Neto, you will get the set pieces, probably has the best floor in the team, but is he needed? Is he needed for if you're playing for a 1-0 kind of a win? If you're playing for a clean sheet with West Ham, probably not. So let's look at Jose Sa here. Obviously, you're going to have more room to work with Jose Sa, but let's just plug him in. 7.8K for a captain. So it saves you a bunch. That's 4.2K less than a Fabianski captain, which is kind of crazy. It's not like, I don't know. It seems like a big stretch between these guys. Prior to the Man City match, Jose Sa allowed 2 goals from 5 matches. So positive in every match. Even if this is 1-1, let me just compare Jose Sa's price to who else is around him before I say something stupid. So yeah, he's a little more expensive than guys like Neves, than Johnny, Suchek, Nunes, Semedo. So yeah, he's up there. So, okay. You definitely want Nato with him captain. So you get Jose Sa on here. NATO, maybe you hope for the NATO goal. You want this set. Let's just say you want the set pieces from Bowen and Cresswell. So you get an early goal from someone. And Jose Sa, Neto, Bowen, Cresswell. We still got 15K. We still have a lot to do. So we can go with another one of these goal scorers, which is pretty easy. I mean, we could do. I'm not even sure. Like, why do we need Aitnery? Aitnery is too expensive here. I think his price is still like built up because he used to take set pieces, but he no longer takes set pieces, and he's playing as a fullback, not as a wingback. So he's too expensive. But whatever I just built right here, he's like the next guy in. So we are $200 short from fitting in Neto, Podence, and Guedes, which would be pretty awesome. So if you wiggle around a little more, maybe you don't get Cresswell in there. Maybe you get Soufal instead of Cresswell. Not terrible, but I mean, I guess what did you want? But yeah, I mean, you can still fit the front 3 for Wolves. That's possible, but if Wolves get a goal, do you want the front 3 of Wolverhampton? I think that's too much, honestly. So let's just go back to who's better than Podence or Guedes. I think Guedes might be the better play. I don't think either guy is going to get 90 minutes. Guedes is cheaper, so let's just go with that. And let's see what we are left with. We're left with Fabianski. Did we just find a scoreless draw lineup? I think we might have. And even then, like, we don't need Guedes in this lineup. Like, we can plug Johnny and we can plug Aitnery. And if you want the extra clean sheet bonus, because, I mean, you are captaining Jose Sa, so maybe you want the extra clean sheet. But this lineup I just put together, Jose Sa captain, you got Neto, you got Bowen, you got Cresswell, you got the set piece takers, you got Fabianski, you got Guedes. I mean, Guedes is, again, it could be, you can go with the defender. You can go really anyone in the spot. You probably don't want the Guedes and Fabianski because you're playing Guedes for the goal. So maybe you just go with Aitnery or something in that spot. Go for the clean sheet or whatever, something like that. But yeah, I mean, you got there's a lot of things you can do here. This is, kind of a weird showdown to where like everyone is playable. There's a lot of teams out there where no one is playable. So now we have this slate where these Wolves midfielders, even the West Ham guys, maybe not so much Declan Rice, but they got a front four. Any of those guys can be considered, and then you got fullbacks that can be considered. So we got a lot of ways to go. But with Jose Sa in there, maybe play for a scoreless draw, maybe play for that Wolverhampton 1-0 win. I think this game could go 1-0 to either side, 1-1 kind of a thing. So a lot of ways to go, but hey, hopefully this helped. Just quick rundown of this showdown, the biggest showdown of the weekend in the Premier League. Unfortunately, it just sounds weird to say, like, why is DraftKings giving us the biggest showdown between West Ham and Wolverhampton when we got the North London Derby, we got the Manchester Derby? Can't do anything about it, but it's unfortunate. I feel like they can draw more people to their game by, putting some big contests in for the Manchester Derby. Standalone game on Sunday. I know it's competing against their NFL game, but hey, I'll stop complaining. I'm Adam Zdroik. You can find me on Twitter at RotoZdroik. We'll be talking all weekend on the Discord. You can get Discord access with a subscription, rotowire.com/soccer trial, free 10-day trial. You can get that without a credit card. But hey, good luck to everyone. If you missed any of our other content, we got a betting show. I did a betting show with AJ Scholes a couple days ago. Check that podcast out, show out, whatever. Also got a betting article. We got write-ups for DraftKings, for FanDuel, for Saturday's classic slates. Jack Burkhart's coming out with a Manchester Derby write-up for the showdown. I did this. Of course, we got Jordan Cooper, Ryan Belangi, myself did a show for the 5-game DraftKings slate on Saturday. That's before this contest. So we got a lot of good stuff at RotoWire. Check it out, the soccer section. We got everything you need for DFS, for sports betting. There you go. But thanks for watching this, and we'll see everyone. We got a busy 6 weeks upcoming, but thanks for watching. See everyone, and good luck.